making dinner. It's a little later. Josh had to work late, so I'm doing it so it's fresh. So I have pork sausage links here that I used the other night to make had the other night with French toast. They're already cooked. I'm going to take them out of their casing. I have bacon, and I have goat's milk. I'm probably going to need more than what this quart jar has, but I'm making sausage gravy. I made biscuits earlier. There were more. We ate some. This recipe wasn't bad, but I'm going to tweak it a bit before I share it with you guys because it wasn't exactly up to my standards either. However, my gravy, not to brag, my gravy I think is pretty amazing. So these sausage links are from our pigs, made them ourselves. And the bacon is from our pigs too, even though this is more of a pork belly cut than it is bacon, but it's going to be good regardless. So let's get you flipped around maybe. Find a spot for you to sit. If the camera will sit, maybe. Okay. Sorry you're getting a close-up of sausages. So I'm just going to remove the casings from these guys because, well, we don't want the casing on there anymore. Not for sausage gravy, at least. Oh, I wanted that. That's my good sausage. You guys will have to forgive the quality of this video, this part I'm doing. I couldn't find our little stand to put the camera on. So, it is what it is. I was going to wait till Josh got home and have him film as I did this, but I just want to make this quick because I actually have to work tomorrow morning, so I kind of want to go to bed. So these were smoked first, I should say. I did them for 2 hours on our smoker. And to cook them the other night, I pan-fried them a little bit on the outside, and then I popped them in the oven. And I actually overcooked them because, silly me, forgot that I had smoked them. So when I cut into one to see the doneness, I saw the pink from the smoke ring, which I don't know if you guys are going to be able to tell on this, but I saw that and I thought that they were raw. So I overcooked these a little bit, so they weren't super excellent with the French toast, but I think having the country gravy is going to help. But I'm getting these all peeled, and I'm going to just wipe my hands really quick because they're super greasy. I'm going to cut up and fry the bacon first, add the sausage and make a roux, and go from there. I'm just going to show this to you guys super quick, and then I'm going to give this a pause. So this is our cured and home smoked bacon. It's more like a pork belly than it is bacon. Just cut off that little chunk of fat. Okay, so I'm going to cube this up, and I will be right back once I get all my stuff started in the pan. Oh, sorry. I lied. I decided to turn it back on while I cube up this bacon. So I realized that I probably said this was a sausage gravy. I should have called it a breakfast gravy because I'm adding the bacon. And there's one more thing I have to get out of the fridge, but that's not till the end, so I'm going to leave it in there for now. We actually had some of this bacon on BLTs last night. I thought it was super good. The daughter said it was too salty, so I probably should have taken off a little bit more of that fat. But with my sausage being kind of dry, I want the extra fat. I'll just cook the bacon a little slower. Render it down a little bit more. Okay, so my bacon's all cubed, and now I'm just going to kind of chop these guys up for when I'm ready for them. Normally you would probably use a ground, like a, not a link sausage, but a ground sausage for breakfast gravy. It just so happened we were doing French toast, and I wanted to try out some of our homegrown sausage, so, but because I overcooked it, we'll never use it up before it goes bad, so here we are. And for anybody who follows us on Instagram, I did a poll trying to figure out who we should pair Feline with if she's ready to breed this year, or when she's ready to breed, I should say, because she'll get paired with him regardless. It was between Thor and Loki, and Loki won, so we're just going to try to put some weight on Loki over the summer. He lost a little bit of weight when he was fighting the coccidia, and he had pneumonia. So we're going to just try to put some weight on him, and hopefully in the fall, he and Feline will be ready to breed. And I'm super excited to see their babies. Super, super excited. I do plan on retaining a doeling out of Feline. Hopefully she gives me one. Mainly because I want to see what Loki throws for kids and udders and that stuff. If she ends up giving me bucks, I do plan on retaining one buck, and I will keep him intact. The other one will be weathered, and if the one I retain ends up not looking so great, he'll get weathered as well, or castrated, or I haven't really decided yet. But I will be retaining a kid out of her this year. I will be retaining a kid out of Zelda when she kids. I'll probably be retaining a kid out of Briar, and depending personality-wise, it wasn't our plan to retain a kid out of Clover, but I'm getting a demand for soap, and I share milk with another family member, so for production purposes, depending, it might be in our best interest to retain a kid out of Clover. But we'll see. So I just have, let me flip you guys back around, sorry. I have my bacon in a non-stick skillet. I did pretty decent sized cubes because I want to actually be able to pick the bacon out. And I'm going to fry this. Once this is fully cooked and browned and I got some grease in there, I'll add in the sausage. I'll add in like a tablespoon or two of flour. It's really going to depend on what the grease soaks up. I'll show you when I get to that point. I'm going to then add in milk. I have about 2 cups here. I may need to grab more out of the fridge as I'm adding it in to make sure it's the consistency I want. And then I will add, I'm not going to add any salt because our bacon is on the saltier side and I don't want to over salt. I'll add in a little bit of black pepper, and then I also add in some maple syrup. That's the secret ingredient to making a really yummy breakfast gravy. Here's my chopped sausage. That's the stuff I'm going to throw out. Don't mind my mess. I have to clean. It looks horrible. Let's actually walk over to the fridge. I'll take you guys for a walk and find the maple syrup, and you guys can see my messy fridge. Mountain Dew. Lucy and Ethel are actually dropping in milk production. Stay. We're getting, that was tonight's milking. We're not getting as much as I would like, but not much that can be done about that. I'm going to try giving them some grain. There's our maple syrup. I stopped giving them grain for a bit because they were having very clumpy poop. Not that you guys need to hear about that as I'm, you know, cooking bacon. But, so I stopped giving them grain for a minute, and I think that's why their milk production's gone down. But we'll see. When I put this in the pan as well, I'll break it. It's very easy to break, so I'll break it into smaller chunks once it hits the pan. So I'm just going to continue to fry my bacon, and I'll see you guys back once I'm ready to add the sausage and make my roux and finish up. Okay, so I didn't record myself adding the flour because, well, I carried it over on a spoon for my 5-gallon buckets. But I added my flour, coated the bacon, and now I'm going to try to film and start adding in the milk. I don't think I'm going to be able to do this though because I have to stir too, so. Okay, I'm going to start with that. Yeah, I'm going to have to put this down. I'll show you it at the end, but from here I'm just going to keep adding milk till I reach my desired consistency. I'm going to put my sausage in, and I'll add my maple syrup and my pepper, and I'll be back to show you the finished product. Okay guys, here's my final product. As you can tell, it thickened up nicely. The sausage is in there. I added my pepper, my maple syrup, and in the description of this video there will be a link to the blog post on our website that has this recipe. And if you try it, I hope you'll let me know whether or not you liked it. Biscuits and gravy isn't one of the things we do here a ton, so when I do make it, it's, as you can see, I make a decent amount. This will be 4 meals or so. Oh, you fat. Okay, so I wasn't going to add this to the video. The bread I have in the oven is not done yet. It's not sandwich bread, it's like a swirl bread. Somebody on one of my Facebook groups shared this with me because I've been having issues with my baking powder. No matter what I do, whether I sift it with flour, sift it alone, mix it with flour beforehand, I always get clumps of it in my baked goods that taste literally like aluminum. So somebody shared a video with me on how to make homemade baking powder, and I want to show you guys this bread because this homemade baking powder recipe actually has this bread rising. I don't even know if you guys, yeah, see? It was like half that pan, so I actually need to turn my oven down because it's getting brown way too fast. So we're going to put it at 350 till it's done. But yeah, so in the description of this video below, I'm going to share exactly how I made that homemade baking powder. I had everything on hand, and I got this much out of what I used. So I'm going to see how this continues to work for me. If it works good and I don't have any clumps in this bread, I doubt I'll go back to buying store-bought baking powder. I'll make it just at home. If this bread turns out good, I will share the link to our blog in the description as well with the recipe I used, because I didn't follow any recipe. I kind of was just like, oh, gotta try out baking powder. Let's throw this together really quick, and I kind of just did my own recipe as I was going. So I will let you guys know how it turns out. I'll probably slice it on camera. I'm hoping it turns out good. Let it rise a little bit. It doesn't quite have the bread dome I was looking for, but that could be my fault. The dough was, or the dough, the mix, whatever you want to call it, the batter, was still kind of thick. I probably should have loosened it up a little bit, so I think it's going to be a little on the denser side. But with some ice cream, I think it'll be just fine. So, yeah, in the description below this video, look for that homemade baking powder, if you guys want to try it. It was super easy to throw together. It took me 2 seconds, and if I don't have any clumps anymore, that'll be amazing. And look for the link to this bread, as long as it tastes good. If it doesn't taste good, there won't be any link, because I won't share something that's not amazing. Kind of like the biscuits. That recipe will not be shared because it needs some tweaking first, and I refuse to share something that doesn't look good or doesn't taste good. They look decent, they just didn't, needs to be tweaked. Definitely in the description below, though, there will be the link to my breakfast gravy recipe. And that recipe is totally customizable. You can add any spices, herbs, whatever you'd like to it, whatever you prefer. I'm just going to share how we like it, how I made it. And yeah, so I will be back when it's time to slice this bread. Maybe. Or I might eat it all. We'll see. So, update on the bread I made yesterday. The middle collapsed. It was purely my fault. I took it out of the oven to readjust racks to try to cover it a little bit. And in doing so, while it was still gooey in the middle, that's what caused that. So, today, we're trying out the baking powder again in a chocolate chip, vanilla, and maple flavored cake. So, hopefully it comes out like cake. We'll see. So, hopefully, something comes out good. But yeah, the baking powder did work for this. It was rising until I took it out of the oven. So, that recipe, link to that for the blog, will be in the description below this video. This, however, will not. It tasted good, needs some tweaking. This, if it turns out good, will be. But yeah. It's been raining here, so there's not going to be any goats featured in this video. There's not going to be any garden in this video either. So, sorry about that, guys. But it's too rainy, too cold to be outside filming. So, just cooking recipes. We're going to be making some pork chops later, homemade pork chops. And I'm cheating and I'm using instant mashed potatoes because I have them on hand and I don't have any actual potatoes. And he found the pork chops.
Yep.
Yes, those would be pork chops.
It says chops on it, so yes, it would be pork chops.
Yep, yes it would be. Well guys, the cake came out decent. I gotta tweak that recipe a little bit, but it rose, it stayed fluffy from the homemade baking powder. So the homemade baking powder, link to the recipe and stuff on our website will be in the description below. But you're gonna have to wait for the cake and bread recipes because I do have to tweak them a little bit, which Josh won't mind because, well, it'll be a lot of testing for him. Also in the description below will be the link to my sausage, well, breakfast gravy recipe, I should say, not sausage. So that'll be down below too. And once I get the biscuit recipe, cake, and bread recipes figured out, I'll make sure those links, there's Acadia, those links are in the description of the next video. You trying to figure it out, baby? Hi. Do you see yourself? It's not a softie. She's trying to softie it and give it a hug. No, don't grab. So if you guys haven't already, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also find us on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll put links to our pages in the description as well if you want to check those out. No, there's nothing up there for you. And we'll see you at the next video, or during the next video, hopefully. I'll make sure we get some goats in the next video. It's supposed to be pretty nice next weekend when we try to film our stuff, so it shouldn't be too hard to get them. Projects coming up that you'll probably see in the next video. We have a new gate to put up for the goat pasture. We're upgrading to a smaller gate from a bigger one. So that'll be in the next video, as well as potentially shaving Feline if I can find some clippers to do it. And I'll talk about why we're doing that in that video as well if I haven't mentioned it already. But yeah, so like and subscribe, and hopefully, next video that comes out, you'll watch that one as well to get the improved biscuit, bread, and cake recipes, and to see all the fun projects we're doing. I hope you guys have a great week, and we'll see you next time. Bye.